Which of the following traits will help entrepreneurs succeed? Well, welcome back. I'm Ted Thomas. I've been an entrepreneur for over 30 years. I do that from home. I have a small business I run from home. Doesn't mean the business has to stay small revenue-wise, but I can do the whole business from my home. Okay, so how's that gone for the past 30 years? Well, entrepreneur is up and down. It's topsy-turvy. It's just like riding the beach waves out there at Cocoa Beach or over on Waikiki in Honolulu. It doesn't matter. It's up and down when you're an entrepreneur. Is everything always going to be the same? No. So you have to be flexible. So entrepreneurs probably need the first trait to be flexible, okay? Now, why do you want to be flexible? Because business doesn't always work out. Sometimes you're in a business and you get failures happen, but you're going to have to be able to handle that. So keep your dream, kind of think more into the future, and you'll be okay, because you're going to have to think about what your ultimate objective is if you're going to be a successful entrepreneur. So business people think, well, you have to work 24/7. Well, some days it actually feels like you're working 24/7, but if you read self-help books or you look at late night television or you're on YouTube videos, everything is made to look very easy and everybody's rich. Well, I'm here to tell you, I don't subscribe to that, so I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'll tell you the real world is, number one, you need a lot of flexibility because business is going to go up and down, just like the waves going in and out. All right, so you need to be constantly adapting. And why are you adapting? It's because the market is adapting. The market is always changing. So flexibility is kind of something you want to think about. All right, now think about trait number 2. Are you going to be able to handle sacrifices? For example, that big order comes in at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but you wanted to go out to dinner at 5 o'clock. Well, you're going to have to sit there and sacrifice going to dinner at maybe 7 or 8 o'clock because you have to get the work done. When you're going to be an entrepreneur, in order to succeed, you're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have put in extra time. Might have to work Saturdays and Sundays. Your life is different, but you chose that freedom. So now you have the freedom of no boss, but you don't have a freedom of the checkbook. The checkbook is going to drive you. If the checkbook's empty, believe me, I can tell you right now, you're going to do the work. So what am I really saying? I'm saying that solo entrepreneurs work very hard. Solo entrepreneurs are going to work very hard. They might start early and they might work late on a pretty darn regular basis. So you better handle that ahead of time with your family so that they know you don't have an 8 to 5 job anymore. Okay, long term, how does it look? Well, long term, you're going to build a business that's going to have equity, that's going to take care of you later in your life, and you can grow the business to anything you want or you can sell it. But the point is, it's not like they always show you on YouTube. It's not like what they're going to show you on a self-help book where everything is easy and everybody's rich. I didn't say you can't get rich, and I didn't say you can't get famous, but I'm going to tell you, you're going to have a lot of work on the way. Are there going to be some unpleasant times? Well, why don't you plan on it? So why don't we just paint the picture correctly and not sugarcoat it and say, look, there's going to be some unpleasant times. Can you handle that? Are you flexible? Are you willing to sacrifice? So those are 2 big traits you have to think of right away. All right, now many people are watching YouTube, they're watching television at night, and they think business is going to be easy. There's nothing easy about it, but it's rewarding. So which do you want? Do you want the reward or do you want something easy? Now, most people, they want freedom, and I completely understand that. They want freedom, number 1, and number 2, they don't want a boss telling them what to do. If that's you, you're going to make a perfect entrepreneur. Now, the Small Business Administration will tell us that 80% of all entrepreneurs or all startup businesses will fail in the first 5 years. Now, the 20% that's left over, 80% of those will fail in the subsequent 5 years. So what I'm saying is there's a 96% chance of you failing, so you might as well start figuring this out ahead of time and not think that being an entrepreneur is going to be easy street, because it's not. It's going to be a lot of work. All right, so what are the biggest failures? Number 1 is they don't understand sales. Number 2, they don't have good money management. You have to think of both of those things. So revenue is number 1 priority. Number 1 priority. That means revenue coming in the door. So what is your product going to be that's going to solve problems? What is your service going to be that's going to solve problems? If you don't have either one of those, you really don't have a business. So I'm a solutions guy. So let's talk about a few more solutions, okay? So most entrepreneurs are very confident. They're confident in their ability until they get kind of beat up in the business world. And when they get beat up in the business world, they say, oh my goodness, maybe this isn't for me. This is for you, but just understand it's not going to be perfect. So who are you getting advice from? Forget about those professors at the university. They've got tenured checks coming in. They're nice people. They know the books and know all that. They're not the people to get advice from. How about bankers? Well, I don't go to bankers for advice. They know how to lend or not lend, but they don't understand operations of running a business. So where are you going to get advice? You have to find experienced people. You need to get a coach, a mentor, or experienced people teaching you how to do it. If you don't, you're just going to develop a lot of bad habits and you're not going to do well. You've got to get experienced teachers showing you how to do it, and then your business will move forward. Now, what about accountants and lawyers? Well, accountants are great. They really know about the numbers. Lawyers know all about the law. Are they good advisors? No, they're not good advisors because they're worried about the law. They're worried about the numbers. You need to find entrepreneurs or business people to help you. My business really excelled when I started asking people how I should run my business. They will tell you what to do and what not to do. All right. Now, big thing that people can't do when they first start is they don't know how to measure risk and reward. All right. Now, evaluating risk and evaluating reward was easy in the business I went into. So 30 years ago, I found out about distressed property. All right, distressed property was nothing more than a subset of the real estate business. All right, so the risk reward really looked good to me. Why? Because the county and the state had taken over these properties that people didn't pay. When the people didn't pay, the government didn't want those properties, so they would sell them with 60, 70, and 80% discounts. Was that good? All right. Now, if you can buy a property with 80% discount, do you think you could sell it and make money? Well, if you don't know how, I'll definitely show you how. So if you're sitting around doing nothing, start adapting. Start engaging what's going on here. What's going on here is they're selling these properties with discounts of 60, 70, 80%. They're wiping out the mortgage, and they're going to sell that property. Well, when I found that out, I can measure that risk reward right away. If I can buy for 20 cents on the dollar and sell for 50 or 70 cents on the dollar, I see a big margin. I don't have a lot of risk if I'm buying at 20 or 30 cents on the dollar. All right, so is there any one process that you could follow to do this? No, there's numerous processes, and that's why we teach classes on it. But the point is, you're not going to know one way to do it. You're going to learn a lot of different ways to do it. All right, so you have to have a product. So the product that I wanted to create is I wanted to buy the properties wholesale, and then I wanted to sell them. Well, how was I going to do them? I'm going to buy it low, I'm going to sell it low. So I'm going to buy it for 20 or 30 cents on the dollar, then I'm going to try to sell it for 50, 60, or 70 cents. Now, why don't I try to get 100? Because I want to sell it to some fixer-upper people or someone that wants to take care of the property. I just want to get rid of the property quickly so I can generate cash flow because I'm an entrepreneur, and number one priority entrepreneur is what? You've got to generate money. Number two is hold on to the money. Number three is figure out marketing and sales. Okay. All right. So did I get a lot of big breaks? Well, you're going to find out you're probably not going to get a lot of big breaks. What's really going to happen is you'll kind of have little breakthroughs as you go along. In other words, a step by step. You're going up a steep set of stairs, like climbing up in a lighthouse. You have to go all those steps before you're successful and get up to the top where the light is. But the point is, you're going to have to work at doing that. That's going to take time. What kind of traits does it take? Have you got flexibility? Are you going to sacrifice? What are you going to do? You're going to have to think about it. So those traits are going to be important. So go back and think about that. Are you determined? Determination is one of the most important traits of any entrepreneur. They're going to have to be determined that they're going to be successful. You won't be successful unless you can look long term, because you're going to have problems with a new business or any business every day. So if you're not looking at the future or where the business is going to be, you're going to get discouraged, and you don't want that to happen. All right, so what's the risk reward if I can buy a property for 20 cents on the dollar and I can sell it for 80 cents on the dollar? I think it's pretty small. So I found that business 30 years ago, and I've been involved in it ever since. Could you do the same thing? I do it from home. You could do it from home. You could do it for any way you want. It's ethical, it's honest, and everybody benefits. The county benefits, the person buying the property benefits, you benefit because you can make money. All right, so long-term is the important criteria that you have to think of. Can you think long-term? Can you think of this business of when you're going to sell it, or can you think of this business when you're going to generate more and more cash flow? Those are the two things you're after if you're generating a business. All right, now, when I want to buy, I'm going to buy from a local county. The local county gets these properties because people didn't pay tax. So if people don't pay tax, the local government is going to confiscate their property. The government doesn't want that property, so the county's going to sell them at auction. They're going to do that at 3,000 different counties every year. 5,000 different auctions are going to take place. Anybody can attend. the property starting bids are going to be 10 and 20 and 30 cents on the dollar. All right, that's all because someone didn't pay their taxes. Now, that's not your fault. So now you want to take advantage of that. You're keeping your risk reward low. All right, so think about what we're doing. We're buying properties wholesale and we're selling them wholesale. All right, is there a lot of fixer-upper people out there? Yes, there's thousands of those people that want to do this. All right, now I've been doing this for over 30 years. You can learn how to do it. Now, if you do learn how to do it, here's one thing you have to remember. You don't want to buy a property at the auction unless you've seen the property. If you haven't seen it, you don't know if there was a hurricane the day before or there was a fire or it's next to a chicken farm. You wouldn't marry the woman without looking at her, so don't buy a property without looking at the property. Number two, before you buy it, know what you're going to sell it for. That's called an exit strategy. All right, now a lot of people buy just for the sake of buying. Well, that's a huge mistake. You don't want to do that. You want to buy because you know what you can sell it for. So your risk reward is, if you can buy for 20 cents on the dollar, can you sell it for 50? Or you can't? Well, can you sell it for 40? Or you can't? Well, then don't buy it. So if you don't see the profit, you don't want to buy the property. I'm Ted Thomas. I'll see you on the next video.